Hi everyone, so today's workout is just a nice easy stretch, really nice workout to do maybe before bedtime, maybe on New Year's Eve, just as a nice relaxing workout. We've all had quite a tough year this year, so this is a nice relaxing, chilled out workout, just a short one, just to do whenever you've got a few minutes, maybe before you go to bed. It's quite a nice time to do it. So we're going to start just in a seated position, so cross-legged. If you really struggle to sit cross-legged, you can boost yourself up a little bit with a rolled up towel, or if you've got a yoga block, that's another option. Or you could sit with your feet out in front or more loosely crossed. So just find a position that's comfortable for you. And we're going to bring the fingertips to the sides of the body, sitting up nice and tall, lengthening up through the spine. So we're going to take one arm up to the sky, reach the fingertips up, drop the shoulder blade down the back, and then take a lean over, supporting yourself with that opposite hand, reaching through. And just holding it here, and just breathing. You can close your eyes down if you wish, and just relax and feel the stretch, feel into the body. Just nice big deep breaths in through your nose, out through your nose, or in through your nose, out through your mouth, whichever you find most comfortable. And we're going to change sides, so we're going to send the other arm over, so reaching first and taking it over. Make sure you keep this opposite sit bone, the opposite buttock down on the mat, and again relaxing this arm here, keeping the shoulder away from the ear, reaching across and just holding it here. We're going to go to the other side again, so we're going to take it across, so up first and reach. From here, we're going to take the hands onto the back of the head, and you're going to take a nice rotation down towards the knee. So we're going to take a nice twist, looking underneath that opposite armpit. And then we're going to go to the ceiling, reaching and opening up, looking up to the ceiling. And then we're going to do that twice more. So rotate forwards and backwards. Just taking the gaze with you. Breathing as you move, maybe trying to go a little bit further with each rotation without forcing it, and coming back to centre and changing sides. So reach and hold just for a couple of breaths. Take the hands onto the back of the head and rotate, elbow towards the knee, looking behind. And going to the ceiling. Do that twice more, taking it forwards. And the reverse, taking it up. One more time. Taking it forwards. And up. And coming back to centre. Roll the shoulders around a few times for me, opening up the chest. Okay, taking the hands just in front of you, sit up nice and tall, lift up out of the hips, walk the fingertips forward, tensing the fingers, shoulder blades down the back, gaze just down at the fingertips, keeping the sit bones on the mat, just hold it here, keeping the chest lifted, getting a nice little stretch through the back body, holding it here. Nice big deep breaths, make sure you're relaxing and breathing as you stretch, you're not fighting the stretch, you're just holding it. And take some nice big deep breaths. And then if you want to, you can relax down a little bit further. Some of you might be able to get your forearms to the floor. And you might just want to drop your head and just relax the head and give it a little shake, yes and no. And sink down. Getting ready to fall asleep. And just relaxing and releasing. Walking the fingertips back towards the legs, rolling up through the spine. The head's the last thing to come up. And then we're going to take the legs out in front. Bring the toes in towards the shins, sit up nice and tall. Take the arms up to the ceiling. Lift up out of the hips, hinge forward at the hips, and take the chest over the thighs. relaxing the shoulders, just letting the hands land, thighs, shins, feet, wherever they can get to without forcing them, just holding it here. Making sure we've got a slight bend in the knee, you don't need to press the knees into the floor. Just holding it here. Maybe even bring the hands down by the sides of the legs on the floor. Just taking some nice deep breaths. From there you're going to roll up, we're going to spin around and we're going to slowly roll onto our backs. So you might want to use the floor to help, or you might just want to roll down without the floor, without the help of the hands. Slowly take yourselves down into your backs and just hug your knees into your chest for me. Have a little rock and a roll on that lower back. Maybe opening up the hips a little bit, so placing one hand underneath each knee and taking a roll of the legs away from each other and the other way. And then place one foot down, hand on the opposite shin, knee stays up, pull that knee in towards the shoulder. You can keep this leg bent or you can straighten it, whichever feels best. Just look after your back and make sure it's not lifting off the mat. So if you need to bend your knee, feel free to bend your knee. Just hug that knee in, really good, a good squeeze in towards the shoulder. And breathe here. Nice big deep breaths. And then we're going to hold onto the knee with the same side hand, take the arm out, and we're going to let that leg drop out to the side, keeping the hips pointing up to the ceiling. Not twisting, just keeping the hips pointing up. And bringing that back to centre, and we're just going to swap sides. So pull that opposite knee in towards the shoulder. Draw it in, squeeze it in. Just hold it for a few seconds, a few breaths, maybe 3, 4, 5 breaths. And then hand onto the front of the knee and let it drop out to the side. Making sure the body doesn't rock over, doesn't twist. Everything stays pointing up to the ceiling. Bring it back to centre, bending both knees, placing the feet on the floor. Arms out to the side, keeping the legs together. And we just keep the legs stacked and we drop the knees to one side and we take the gaze in the opposite direction. And we swap sides. We just do this a few times, either side. Option to make it a little bit more difficult or a little bit more challenging. If you feel like you want a bit more of an intense stretch and you're okay with your lower back, take the feet off the floor and drop down to one side. Head always goes in the opposite direction, giving your neck a nice little release as well. One more either side. This time hold it for a bit, so you're getting a nice little bit of a stretch. Maybe bringing this top leg a little bit further up if you want even more of a stretch. Just hold it here for a few breaths. And taking it across the other way. And this time we'll hold it for a little bit longer. And we'll come back to centre. We'll take the feet back onto the floor. We'll walk the heels in towards the bum. We'll take the hands down on the floor. And we're just going to lift up into a shoulder bridge to stretch out the front of the body. Take a big deep breath in. We're going to peel from the lower back off the mat, lifting the hips up to the sky. And then once you've lifted up as high as you can without arching the back here, keep it in neutral position. Float the arms above the head. And then from there, you're going to leave the arms where they are and sink one vertebra at a time, lower down onto the mat until you get to, until your sacrum hits the mat, the lower back hits the mat, and then bring the arms overhead. Bring the knees back into the chest, bring the forehead to the knees. full stretch out. Bring the arms back overhead. Roll over onto one side. Come back up to sit, taking your time. Crossing the legs, rolling the shoulders round. And you're all done. Well done, guys.